This is my E30 325iX Touring, and it has a problem right now. It makes a lot of clicking noise when I turn around, and I have found out that it's because of this motherfucker. And because this is the iX four-wheel drive, this is quite rare part. Luckily, I got the hang of one for not that many money. And today, I'm going to show you how to swap out and drive shaft on an E30 on the front side. So obviously, first you have to take off the tires. So yeah, let's do that. One tire. And then what we need next is a 30 mil to take out the CV joint. I think I have that one in here. So that one's what's out. And then to get this entire thing loose, I have to unbolt the arm so I can just lift it out, and this will come out pretty easily. So just maybe turn the steering wheel a little bit so it's easier. This bolt back here holds the control arm, and when I get that undone, like that, so that means you put that in there. Try not to hurt the boot, but you can't promise anything. That's just the way it is. I could have used a better hammer than this actually, but there it came. I'm gonna take that off. This thing's loose, which means this thing is loose, which means I can press out the axle, I think. Yeah, pretty much. There it is. And then it's just this thing on the gearbox side that I have to get out. Luckily, it's only just you put a big screwdriver in there and yank it out, and it will probably come loose. I will try. Hang on. So at least what I use is this huge screwdriver, and then I just have it on the back side there, and I go like that. No, I don't. You hold it on the back side with the screws and everything, and then just out. It's supposed to like come out pretty easy then. Sometimes don't, sometimes not. And today was a not day. There it was. Just a little fiddling about. And then you can go like this. Just press the brake away and go. There it is. The old joint. And this is a little bit too wobbly. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. So let's try to fit the new one. So this is a new one that I got used from a guy up in Kongsberg. So yeah, it's a lot tighter up here. So I hope and think that this should do the trick. But yeah, we'll see. First we have to get it in. So then again we have to move this brake stuff and get it all lined up in there. There it was, I think. If I got the piece in there now, and I can use all this brake system as long as I get the splines to fit there. And just before I put the rocker arm on, I can use that as leverage. So first we have to get these splines correct. There they were. And then now, to get them all in place, I do like that. I hope so. I think that was the outside here. So now I can put on the bolt for the outside. There was the 30 mil. And then now it stops. As soon as I try to get this further in, it will stop. So hopefully that will do the trick. So then I just have to push the rear or the front control arm back up. There it is. Only problem with the axles like this, they're spherical. So when you just start screwing them, they will start going around. So I have to take the jack stand and push it up while I'm tightening it, or else it will just spin around. So let's see if we can find the jack stand. What I usually do with, as you can see, with my jack, is I just place it pretty much under the control arm. I take off half of the rod like this, and I just push that under, and I use that as leverage to put under here while jacking. Just have to position the jack where I want it to be, or else it will just fly away. So I think we're up to something there. Then just aim it and start pressing. And then you take your trusted 22 mil, starting screwing it counterclockwise, or clockwise, I mean. And of course this is so tight in there, so it will be some fiddling. And then try to get at least one bolt on, like this. And of course, you enter all your bolts manually before you start with a ugga-dugga machine, so you won't break any threads, because it's a pain in the ass just changing them out. That's at least my opinion on it. And then you find your trusted old ugga-dugga, and you put it in. I do not tighten them all the way before I have all of them in there. And then I can start actually tightening it. Like that. And then of course your center cap. And we're all done changing the front axle on a BMW 325iX Touring. Thank you for joining me in my garage, and be sure to subscribe and press that follow button, and I'll show you a lot of other things that I can do, or how I do it. So that means I can go like the last fucking tightenings, so it won't fall off, hopefully. There you go. And then I just loosen the jack, hook it back up to the jack stand. And that, my friends, is a pretty simple axle swap on a BMW E30 325 iX Touring. The wheels, and that's actually one of the biggest issues for me, because since I'm a paraplegic, lifting things up from the ground is not as easy, but I have my ways. And then try to get at least one bolt on, like this. And of course, you enter all your bolts manually before you start with a ugga-dugga machine, so you won't break any threads, because it's a pain in the ass just changing them out. That's at least my opinion on it. And then you find your trusted old ugga-dugga, and you put it in. I do not tighten them all the way before I have all of them in there. And then I can start actually tightening it. Cap. And we are all done changing the front axle on a BMW 325 iX Touring. Thank you for joining me in my garage, and be sure to subscribe and press that follow button, and I'll show you a lot of other things that I can do, or how I do it.